Hey guys, I'm Ashley Abraham. I'm a former DUI prosecutor and Litson attorney who helps ordinary people facing potentially life-altering consequences of a DUI conviction navigate the process, protect their rights, present their case, and achieve their best outcome. I want to talk about something most people hope they never have to deal with. But let's face it happens. What should you do if you're pulled over by the police and you've been drinking? Let's dive into it. First things first, if you see the blue lights in your rearview mirror, don't panic. Stay calm, slow down, and safely pull over to the side of the road. Signal your intentions early so the officer knows you're complying. Make sure you park in a safe location. Once you're stopped, roll down your window and keep both hands on the steering wheel where the officer can see them. This shows that you're not a threat. Stay polite and cooperative. I know it's easy to feel nervous, but keeping your cool will help you stay in control. You are required to provide your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance when asked. This is not considered waiving your right to remain silent. It's fulfilling your legal obligations as a driver. Now, it's common that officers might ask further questions, especially if you've been drinking. If the officer begins asking questions about where you're coming from, where you're going, or if you've been drinking, you can calmly say, "Officer, respectfully, I'm not going to answer any questions without my lawyer present." Avoid saying anything more that could incriminate you. If you admit to the officer that you have been drinking, even if it seems harmless, this will be used against you to convict you of driving under the influence. It is true that anything you say can and will be used against you, so err on the side of silence. Next, the officer might ask you to step out of the car and perform some field sobriety tests. You know, the walk and turn, standing on one leg, or following their finger with your eyes tests. You do have to get out of the car if the officer asks. But here's the thing, you're not legally required to take those tests. They're subjective, and honestly, even a sober person might fail one if they're nervous, or if they have an underlying health issue, or they're just uncoordinated. You can politely refuse to do them. In Tennessee, you have the right to refuse field sobriety tests, commonly known as FSTs. If you're pulled over on suspicion of DUI, these tests are designed to evaluate your coordination, balance, and ability to follow instructions, which officers use to determine you're impaired. The most common FSTs used in Tennessee include the walk and turn, the one-leg stand, and the horizontal gaze nystagmus. This is the test that tracks your eye movement. There are no automatic penalties for refusal. Refusing these tests doesn't carry the same immediate consequences as refusing a blood or breath test after arrest. The officer may still arrest you if they have other reasons to suspect you're impaired, like they detect the smell of alcohol, or they observed erratic driving, or slurred speech, or the presence of an alcoholic beverage in your car. How will refusing field sobriety tests impact your case? Well, by refusing FSTs, you're limiting the evidence the officer can use against you. They can still rely on other observations they made during their interactions with you, but it could make it harder for the state to prove impairment in court. Now, about that breathalyzer. In Tennessee, if you refuse a breathalyzer during a traffic stop, you're looking at penalties under the state's implied consent law, like losing your license for a year, even if you're not convicted of DUI. On the flip side, if you do take the test and blow over the legal limit of .08, you'll likely be arrested for DUI. It's a tough spot either way. So this is where understanding your rights becomes crucial. If the officer asks to search your vehicle, you can assert your right by saying, "I do not consent to a search." The officer can still search your vehicle if they believe they have probable cause to do so, but it's important to verbally express that you do not consent. This can help your case later if any evidence is collected. If the officer does decide to place you under arrest, don't argue or resist. Simply follow instructions and remain as calm as possible. Remember, resisting arrest or arguing can make things much worse for you down the road. Invoke your right to remain silent now by saying, "I am invoking my right to remain silent and will not answer any questions without my lawyer present." After your arrest and once you've been released, the most important thing you can do is call a DUI attorney as soon as possible. Time is critical when it comes to your defense, and a lawyer experienced in DUI defense can help you navigate the complex legal system. So, to sum it up, if you're pulled over after drinking, stay calm, be polite, know your right, and most importantly, contact an attorney right away. I hope you never find yourself in this situation, but if you do, this info can make all the difference.